Good evening. I hereby call to order the action session of the Board of School Commissioners of the City of Indianapolis. Please join me in standing, and we're going to have the color guard present the flag. The color guard is led by Cadet Staff Sergeant Shelby Searcy. Also participating, Cadet Sergeant Major Demont Williams, Cadet Sergeant Keyshawn Scales, Cadet Captain Selena Mosifos, and Cadet Corporal James Caldwell. You may present the colors.
Colors, hope, left, set, present, on. Please join me in reciting the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, on, outward, set, forward, march. Target, hope, inward, set, prepare to pause. Pose. Present. On. Order. On. Outward. Set. Forward. March. March on. March. Target. Hope. Outward. Set. Right. Set. Forward. March.
Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance was led by Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Dustin Rogers. I want to thank the Junior ROTC Battalion from Arsenal Technical High School. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Arnold. Commissioner Bentley.
Here.
Commissioner Cosby. Here. Commissioner Eccles, present. Commissioner O'Connor. Commissioner Sullivan.
Here.
And Commissioner Odle.
Here. Okay, we'll now adopt the agenda for the evening. The agenda was discussed at our agenda review session on Tuesday and reflects changes requested by commissioners at that meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Having adopted the agenda, we will now proceed with Section 2. If there are any groups in attendance that would like to be recognized, please rise and state your name and the organization you're representing. Hearing none, thank you. We'll now move to special recognitions for this evening. Our first special recognition is for Mr. Leon Taylor. Leon Taylor, owner of Leon's Barbershop in Brightwood, is being recognized this evening for his dedication and service to IPS in our community. Mr. Taylor was instrumental in the success of the Brightwood Block Party, which kicked off the Strategic Plan Launch Event series. Mr. Taylor devoted countless hours to the planning and execution of the event, enlisting the assistance of many volunteers and community partners who made the block party a great success. District 2 Commissioner Gail Cosby represented the board and her constituents by attending the event and meeting with the neighbors of Brightwood. Our district is honored to have active and passionate supporters like Mr. Taylor, who see the value of investing time and effort in our community to promote the achievement of our students. As a token of our gratitude, IPS has a plaque for Mr. Taylor to display in recognition of his service to the district. Mr. Taylor's son, John Bailey, is here tonight to accept the plaque on his father's behalf. Mr. Bailey, please come forward and accept this sign of our thanks from Commissioner Cosby. I'm going to get a picture. Our next recognition will be delivered by Leroy Robinson, Director of Community Outreach and Family Engagement for the Indiana Department of Education. Mr. Robinson, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Superintendent Farabee, members of the School Board of Commissioners of Indianapolis Public Schools, thank you for your flexibility this evening and allowing me to say a few words today about your designation. I am Leroy Robinson, the Director of Family and Community Engagement for the Indiana Department of Education. I'm here to personally congratulate you, the superintendent, the school board, each school leader, the entire school staff, and the entire school community for your family-friendly school designation from the Indiana Department of Education. This achievement is indeed a team and community effort. This is the inaugural year of our family-friendly school designation, and your school district has 2 schools to receive the designation this school year. Thank you, Dr. Farabee, members of the school board, for allowing me to come before you today to present these certificates on behalf of Department of Education Superintendent Linda Ritz. Again, congratulations and thank you to your commitment to families and schools and stakeholders in our community. I will now read the names of the school and the school leaders, the first one being the Center for Inquiry School 27 and Principal Jamie Lynn Birch.
Good evening. I want to thank you, Mr. Robinson, Dr. Farabee, and the Board of School Commissioners. I would like to invite up some members of our team who have helped us to become a family-friendly school. And so I'd like to start by asking first Jacelyn Moffitt, who is our parent involvement educator, to join me. Also, Heather Hoffman, who has served as our PTSA president over the past 2 years. Heather is the mother of Liam at our school. And also Carla Riley, who is one of our IB coordinators and has been a teacher at our school at the Center for Inquiry as we started 5 years ago as a new CFI. Please welcome Carla Riley. And as you know, while we represent the staff and families at our school who are passionate about helping kids to be successful, we know that we cannot see students make the achievement gains that we expect unless we have strong partnerships between teachers and parents each and every day. And we have an amazing set of parents. Every one of our parents is committed to working with our teachers to help students be the very best that they can be as learners and as people. And so we're very excited for this recognition, and we're so thankful for all of the members of our PTSA, all of the parents who are part of our community, and of course our staff who work every day to create this amazing partnership and serve each other equally in building kids. So thank you very much.
Just keep your team together, and we'll do the other presentation. And then we'll do the picture. Just keep your group together there.
Thank you. And the next school to receive the designation from the Indianapolis Public Schools is Center for Inquiry number 84 and Principal Christine Collier.
I also want to thank our school community and bring those members forward. We have our past president, who was very active in helping us write this application, Stephanie Tolliver, and her daughter come forward too. And our current president, Ann McAllister Mills, and our current vice president, Tracy Ross, and her daughter come forward. Thank you. You know, to be family friendly really means that you are all pitching in together. You're setting a climate in which everyone can be successful and work together. And that doesn't happen with just leadership or just staff or just parents and students. It's all of us working together, whether we're there on a Saturday planting flowers or whether we're planning activities in the summer for during the school year that will bring families together and unite them and help them to be able to lean on and rely on one another. Those are all the things that make us family friendly. And no school leader could do their job without the support of their staff and the support of their community and their parents. And the parents wouldn't spend the time if they didn't have the support of the staff and the community and the district. So we really are one village, one community working on this together, and I thank them for all of their continued work.
Great. What we'll do is we'll take a picture with Mr. Robinson and Dr. Farabee and I on the steps for each group, so each group will have their picture. So Ms. Barish, you want to bring your group up first?
If I can just jump in real quick, I just want to give kudos to Commissioner Sullivan, because when she was at the State House, she was the original author of the family-friendly legislation. So I just wanted to give her some kudos there.
Great. Great to see your work.
I hope we have more
getting
schools
results.
that.
Well, congratulations to
Yeah.
Principal Collier and Principal Birch and their entire school communities on this exciting recognition. I'd like to remind all of our guests from these schools that you may now head to room 505 for a reception to celebrate your achievement. And thank you for being with us this evening, and you're welcome to come back for the rest of the meeting if you'd like. Enjoy. Okay, we'll now hear from commissioners. Does any commissioner wish to offer any comments, opening comments? Mr.
I just have
Bentley?
a quick comment. I attended with the superintendent and other staff the luncheon, education luncheon that the Urban League hosted, was that yesterday? And one of the International Baccalaureate Program in IPS was recognized and received an award for excellence in education. And so I just wanted to give kudos to them. Shane O'Day was there representing Shortridge International Baccalaureate School Program, and I'm not saying it right, even after all I said about school names. And so I just wanted to give congratulations to them. It was a nice event, and it was great to see one of our programs recognized.
Anybody else? Okay, we heard at our last meeting about the Elevate program that we're supporting and that is going to be supporting IPS students, and went to one of the first community fundraisers for that today. So they're getting going, and hopefully they'll their staff will be at Tech very shortly. Get started. Okay. If there are no other comments, we'll move to the consent agenda. We'll now vote to approve all the items on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
So moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, the motion carries. Okay. See, the Treasury Report is the next item. The Treasury Report was presented on Tuesday as well. Is presented for information, but we do not have to vote on that, so we'll proceed to Section 6. Several reports were presented to the board on Tuesday night at the agenda review session. I'll now turn it over to Dr. Farabee, and we'll not have each one of them represented, but we are going to have a presentation on the strategic plan update.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Oda. Good evening, Commissioners. We discussed in detail items 6.1 through 6.04 at our agenda review session, which included an update on our partnership with Marion University for our Leadership Collaborative, our Transformation Zone in partnership with Mass Insight, and preparation for our Advanced Ed review, which will take place in a few weeks, and an update on our partnership with the Simon Youth Foundation to open our academy at Circle Center Mall. It's our pleasure this evening to provide an update on our strategic plan for the public, which includes the information shared at our agenda review session, but also additional information that will be new for this evening. So at this time, I will have Ms. Bowler provide that update, and again, we have special announcement about tonight in our strategic plan.
Good evening. So I'll just start with the announcement while we're awaiting the presentation. We finally have our entire strategic plan book ready. It is online on our website, so visitors can go to our homepage and click on the IPS strategic plan badge, and it'll take you right to the book. Commissioners have the paper copy at your seats, and those who are in our audience live here tonight have a paper copy as well, I believe. And that book will be going to print very soon. Just back up here. So we want to continue to lift before our community the major components of our strategic plan. Again, we invite people to view the strategic plan online. The core content, were approved last month, and we do have the full strategic plan. We're going out in the community sharing this presentation to anyone who would like to understand how to partner with IPS in our exciting future. And we are also sharing this information with our teachers, all staff across the district. So 4 of the major components of the strategic plan are what we call our cornerstones: autonomy and accountability, efficient and streamlined business practices, leadership and talent development, and offering a storefront of support services to our community. Brief reminders about the process in developing the strategic plan, beginning with the superintendent's entry into the district and including his listening tour. We heard from well over 6,000 voices, and we've engaged with many people throughout the community in the drafting process. Here's a reminder of the scope of influence, how we began with the major goals from the board, and worked through the administration, along with all employees, students, and families in our entire community in this process. We're really excited that the board has provided us core commitments and beliefs that were adopted on March 9th, 2015. And the core commitments are listed here, 1 through 5 on this slide. Each item in the strategic plan, from goals, objectives, strategies, and metrics, talks specifically to these 5 core commitments. Those can also be found online by clicking on the badge that's located on our homepage. The full core commitments and beliefs are located there. So the strategic plan does have its own presence. It is not a far departure from the My IPS signature logo, but it does have its own presence. And so here on this slide, we kind of break down what it means. The strategic plan logo features 2 circles, an orange crescent, and an arrow. And so the P is the most prominent thing in the logo, symbolizing that we are proud to be public. Also, you see elements of autonomy, diversity, equity, and unity, things that we value very much. We also value support and collaboration with our community. That orange crescent kind of symbolizes the all-encompassing support of the community. And that arrow pointing us in the right direction by the number 4 really symbolizes that we're confidently moving forward toward transformation, innovation, autonomy, and excellence. Highlights of the strategic plan. There are 3 major goal areas. In teaching and learning, we talk about how we will reach excellence in the classroom. In Area 2, efficient operations, we aim to reach excellence in our business practices. Goal Area 3, family and community, is where we strive for excellence in our support services to our students and families. So before we began the process of developing the strategic plan, we acknowledged that there was a lot of immediate work that needed to be done in the district. And so we laid some early foundations. Some of the ones that are on the board agenda for tonight are highlighted in blue, things that we're already familiar with. You can see those here on this slide. Also in the area of teaching and learning, we've expanded our pre-K seats. And we have a research-based literacy initiative that we're implementing. In efficient operations, we're strategically liquidating some of our real estate. And we're continuing our work on the Indy Chamber operational analysis. We've got some really great recommendations there. In Goal Area 3, family and community, which is over to the far right, we have implemented a process of hiring parent involvement educators in each school. We saw one of them featured here tonight for CFI 27. Very important work. Care Docs implementation, and so that's where we're making it much easier for parents and families to store and access students' medical records. We've also established an Office of Advancement and a Strategic Partnerships Coordinator to make certain that we're strategically leveraging resources out in our community to better support our schools. Racial equity training is expanding throughout the district and picking up national attention, so we're very proud of our efforts there. So the core contents that were approved, again, late August. In the area of teaching and learning, you can see on this slide some of the things that were major foci in the district. And if you move over to the blue, from yesterday to today, you can see what we're focusing on going forward. So an autonomous framework for schools. We're targeting student growth rather than focusing solely on school performance. Establishing clear, comprehensive leadership performance metrics for our leaders in our schools. And we're making certain that we understand and embrace diversity as a district. Also in teaching and learning, today and moving forward, we're aiming for more innovative instructional practices in the classroom. We want our teachers, our instructors to have self-selected professional development. Moving toward more strategic grade configuration, and expanded, attractive academic options for all families. Also making certain that we enhance learning opportunities for all, more rigor in the classroom. Goal Area 2 highlights efficient operations. Today and moving forward, we're looking forward to more fair and equitable resource distribution. More strategic facilities utilization, more intentional and competitive recruitment practices, making certain that IPS has the best and brightest leaders and instructors. Also, more streamlined and responsive supports for our schools, excellent customer service for our schools. Goal Area 3, family and community. Today and moving forward, we're striving for more effective two-way communication with our families and a family-friendly enrollment experience and magnet application process, which is coming up soon. We strive for more family support and empowerment and advocacy. Also, again, leveraging community resources to support our schools and excellent customer service. So moving forward, now that we have a strategic plan, we need to immediately break down all the contents of the strategic plan into action plans. And so those action plans will be charter projects. And in those projects, we will develop a scope of work for each of those items. Once we do that, and that's something that the core leadership team is doing in the coming weeks, once we do that, we're going to reach back out to the community and say, come on and join us in this work. Find your place in the plan. So the first thing we'll do, and some of our committee members are here in the audience tonight, we'll reach back out to those who served on the plan drafting committees and ask how they would like to help us implement the plan. That will be a community effort as well, internal and external. And then we'll also monitor, adjust, and report. So we'll make certain that there are timely deliverables. So from those charter projects, we will develop action plans with dates, and we'll report out on that. On our website, we'll make certain that we have the most transparent reporting, and for our board, we'll make certain that we provide quarterly reports. So the strategic plan is dynamic rather than static. We understand that conditions change, environmental demands, we have new learnings that we acquire each day, and so where we need to be flexible and make adjustments, of course, we will do that. So we will employ a continuous improvement process. We like to call it plan, act, inspect, respond, or PAIR. Some people say plan, do, check, act. They're synonymous. So we're going to plan the work through our project teams and then work plan. We're going to consistently evaluate the results, and in our strategic plan we talk about primary indicators. Those will be used to evaluate the results. And then we'll make refinements as necessary to make certain that we're driving outcomes successfully. So we encourage our community to let us know that they'd like for us to come out and talk with them. Existing community meetings, neighborhood associations, different organizations, we are very happy to come out and share the components of the strategic plan, and we'll ask what pieces are important to the group. So here on this slide, you can see our contact information. Call the Service Center at 226-4000 or email us at IPS Public Relations Division at myips.org. And again, we have the full strategic plan online now, so we encourage everyone to take a look at that, and hopefully we'll see you out in the community soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowler. If there are any additional comments or questions on this item, the next section, Commissioner Odo, is board reports.
Any commissioners have any questions? Great.
Thank you, it looks great.
Thanks. The presentations, well, the tools and communication tools look great too. Thank you very much for your work on that. We have two items to consider under board reports. First, has been proposed that we move our monthly work session from the Tuesday before our agenda review session to the Monday of the week prior to our regular meetings. We have also decided to hold those work sessions on a rotating basis throughout the district. Meeting locations will be announced in advance, and the board staff will ensure easy accessibility for public attendance. Our next work session will be Monday, October 19th at 6 p.m. at George Washington High School. Okay. Following a presentation from the Chief Financial Manager at our September 16th work session and a follow-up discussion at Tuesday evening's agenda review session, we're prepared to appoint a board finance committee. The finance committee will help develop board policy as it relates to finances, help to identify a process for engaging an external audit team, and make recommendations on the district's financial investments. The committee will consist of 5 members. 2 board members will be appointed this evening, and the 3 remaining seats on the committee will be appointed by the administration and will include external experts in addition to district staff. I hereby appoint Michael O'Connor as chair of the board finance committee. Commissioner O'Connor has agreed to serve. Additionally, I hereby appoint Kelly Bentley as the board's second committee member. I'll now turn the agenda over to Dr. Farabee for any unfinished business and new business.
Thank you, Commissioner Odle. There are 3 items in unfinished business. Item 8.01, 8.02 are policies that the administration is recommending for consideration. These policies were presented in August, and we've done our due diligence in terms of our waiting period for approval. Item 8.01 is a proposed policy revision for guidelines for suspension and expulsion. These revisions are in alignment with our IPS student code of conduct. We also are cleaning up formatting in alignment with our organizational structure. We're asking that the Board of School Commissioners approve policy revision 8.01 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Before we vote, a comment I would make is that these policies and the training that go along with them are really geared toward reducing the number of out-of-school suspensions so that we have our students in school and learning. So, any other questions on the policy? If not, I'd ask for a vote, a roll call vote.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Cosby?
Yes.
Commissioner Echols, yes. Commissioner Sullivan?
Yes.
And Commissioner Odle.
Yes. Okay, have a majority vote, so that policy passed. Next item.
Next item, item 8.02. This policy revision is related to guidelines for personal technology devices. It provides an update to our old policy as it relates to the possession and use of cell phone and other technology devices. Ask that the Board of School Commissioners approve the policy revision as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion of the policy? Although we'll have a roll call vote on that policy as well.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Cosby?
Yes.
Commissioner Echols, yes. Commissioner Sullivan?
Yes.
And Commissioner Odle.
Yes. Having a majority of vote, that policy is approved as well.
Next item, item 8.03. As you're aware, the Indiana Department of Education requires action and documentation for any changes as it relates to school opening, closures, or changing in reconfigurations. This is an update to the previous reconfigurations, openings, and closing approved by the Board of School Commissioners in alignment with services associated with our preschool programs, specifically at Ernie Powell School 90 and William Penn School 49. Recommend that the Board of School Commissioners approve the modified school reconfigurations report to the Indiana Department of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? And those are consistent with our goals as a school district of expanding the number of preschool seats so that we can have more of our kids going to really high-quality preschool before they enter kindergarten. Okay. We do not need a voice vote on that, so we'll take, we do not need a roll call vote. We'll take a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Same sign. It passes.
Next section, section 9, includes policies for consideration that we are still reviewing and ask our administrators and the commissioners to consider for approval in October, which includes item 9.01, which is a policy revision for guidelines for facility use. Also, item 9.02, which is a policy revision associated with student assignment, more specifically with our magnet and choice options. We received feedback from commissioners, continue to digest the feedback and make modifications accordingly. Are there any questions on those potential policy revisions as it relates to item 9.01 and 9.02?
I just have
Commissioner Bentley?
I just have a procedural question. So as you work through these, we're not going to be asked to vote next month. They'll be presented again next month in their final form, and then we'll be asked to vote the month after that. Is that how that works?
So typically what we've done is we'll present the policy the first month for consideration and gather feedback, and then at the agenda review session, we'll present those modifications. And when we have the policy developed prior to, we can share that information with commissioners. And if it's at a point where commissioners are comfortable, action can be taken at the following session. So some of these policies can be approved in October if that is the will of the commissioners. If not, we'll continue to make those revisions. I would just note that specifically with the student assignment and magnet policy revision, that is a timely revision as we are going into our magnet application season. So the goal would be to hopefully take action in October.
I guess what I'm asking is I know there were some revisions made, but if additional revisions are made, does it not have to sit for the 30-day, additional revisions after tonight? Does it not have to sit? I'm just curious. I wasn't as much worried about the student assignment one, because I think has that been revised? I think, was it?
Mm-hmm.
But more about the facilities use one, if there's going to be changes to that, how that's going to play out. And then I had a question about that too, after I didn't even think about this the other meeting, is whether or not there's been conversations with the building principals to get input into that policy as well, since it's their buildings.
We have not solicited feedback from principals. Again, the goal was to put that before commissioners and get commissioner feedback. Now that we have gotten that feedback and make revisions, we'll be happy to share that with principals.
I mean, I just think that policies like this that directly impact schools probably ought to have principal input at the front end rather than the back end. And that's just me personally, especially since we're moving towards autonomy and we want our principals to take more of an active role in the decisions in their buildings, that they probably ought to be involved in these decisions in the front end. That's just my comment. But my concern is if there are substantive changes made to this draft, and then we're being asked to vote on it, it doesn't give any public or school or staff any opportunity to provide input if we're, if we're presented on, if it's presented to us a final draft in October and then we're asked to vote on it 2 days later. I guess that's what I'm getting to. Normally on that 30 days, it's the final draft of the policy that's sitting there for 30 days for people to look at. But if this isn't the final draft, that was my procedural question on that. I don't know, that might be a
yeah, Mr. Mulholland, if you want to.
Mulholland question. But,
you want to speak to that question, please, sir?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't think the board policy directly addresses whether or not, if there are minor changes to a policy, whether that, again, has to recycle through the 30 days. So I would say if there are minor changes made to the policy, that would satisfy the 30-day waiting period. And again, as you indicated, I think if there were significant or substantive changes made, then that might be a consideration for the board to either, again, allow the policy delay for an additional 30 days, or alternatively to waive the 30-day if they feel that the community and others have had sufficient time to review the proposed changes.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. Thank you.
So that's good guidance. We'll
Yeah.
We'll make sure that we do get input from principals on, I guess, on both of those policies. If there are not significant changes, we'll be ready to move forward because it'll satisfy the 30 days. But if there are significant changes, then we'd ask that those be presented, and then we can decide as a board whether we want to approve them in October or not.
And again, once we get the feedback at the general review session, like tonight, we try to ensure that we've addressed the initial feedback we received, so there aren't significant changes when we
Right.
make those actions.
It just occurred to me, I mean, I didn't ask that question on Tuesday, and I do apologize for that. It just occurred to me specifically, you know, on this policy for student assignment, that is a district level decision. I understand that. But I think when we're talking about school facilities, those are things I think that we really ought to involve school leadership on the front end on those kinds of policy changes, just because sometimes they know more than the rest of us just because they're in the buildings every day. So,
So
yeah,
so if you're going back to item 9.01,
yes,
that actually was spearheaded through conversation with principals about concerns about
Okay.
facility use. So yes,
Okay, all right.
we have gotten the voice
Yeah.
of principals on that
All right.
item.
But if we could just make sure that, you know, they're all aware. Student assignment is a little different, but people should be aware.
Commissioner Cosby has a
Quick
question.
question. When we allow the facilities to be rented and those generate revenue, is that revenue able to support the building? Like, does that stay within the school or does that go into a district?
Scott, you want to speak to it?
So that money does come back to a point. It pays for the custodian salaries, and overtime, as well as the utilities and the supplies that are used. We do have some events that generate more funds than others, and the intent for those extra funds would be to stay at the school.
So I'm asking because I'm hopeful that as we move toward autonomy, this might be a source of income for extracurricular activities or things of that nature. And I believe at one point in time in the past, we shifted at some point from the money staying at the school level to moving toward the district level.
Yeah, so there's an accounting procedure that we need to make sure is in place, that it's going to the right place to begin with.
Okay.
And it's not shuffled back and forth and lost in the process.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Commissioner Cosby wasn't here on Tuesday, but that was one of my, I think that there was the issue of where the accounting should occur. Because I was a firm believer that we just charge back, let the school keep the money, but we charge them, physically charge them for those real costs that need to be covered, rather than having the money come to the district and then, because then then that puts the onus on the principal to remember, oh, I need to check to see what happened to that money from that facility rental, and they got other things to worry about. And I think this way, if the money could be accounted for at the school level, if the money goes to the school for the facility rental, and then the district just charges them back, it gives you a paper trail. They all have accounts. They can either physically write a check, or you guys can physically take it out of their account or something, right?
Yeah, facilities will work with a business office
Okay,
and make
figure
sure
out,
that's worked out.
Okay,
Make it as simple as possible.
yeah,
Yes.
thanks.
We also want to ensure that staff is working during those extra hours, that they're paid appropriately. So
Right.
I don't know that we want to put the onus on principals to make sure that happens, that we make sure.
No, I'm just saying this district would still pay the cost, but they're gonna charge it back to the school, so the school has to,
If schools don't pay it, we take it from them.
they take it, or you say, write us a check, we're the collector of, debt collector, so that there's like that, so people understand that there are actual costs associated with the rental. It's not just free money. Their costs have to be covered first, then it's free money.
We want to assist them in however we can to make sure that they get the money that they deserve.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Next item is item 9.03, also discussed at the agenda review session and also as an item follow-up to our work session in August. I recommend that the Board of School Commissioners approve the services agreement as presented with Education Resource Strategies.
Motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Passes.
Next item is item 9.04, also discussed at agenda review to provide damaged or surplus buses for the use of training at the request of the Indiana State Police. We ask that the Board of Commissioners approve the transfer of damaged school buses to public safety training as presented.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion passes.
Next item is item 9.05, also discussed in the agenda review session, which is recommendation for approval with the Indianapolis Fire Department to approve the loan agreement as presented in partnership with the Indianapolis Fire Department to support the IPS Career and Technology Center.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion passes.
Next item is item 9.06. This item was an item that I don't necessarily believe requires board action. However, we wanted to ensure that the administration had the support of commissioners to implement a procurement card program for specific expenses to be authorized by the chief financial manager.
Motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Further discussion?
I just have a quick
Commissioner Bennett.
comment that I've never heard of a procurement card, and I'm going to start using that terminology at home, by the way.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion passes.
Next item, item 9.08, it's a recommendation discussed at the agenda review session. I recommend that the IPS Board of Commissioners authorize the IPS Chief Financial Manager to execute all SEEC contracts in alignment with the services provided for special education for the 2015-16 school year.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Further discussion? Questions?
And we did, I know I asked this question the other night, but it was confirmed that we can do this blanket authorization, that we don't have to act on those individually. Is that right? Okay.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion passes.
Next item is item 9.08, which is another arm of our collective bargaining process, which is a request for approval to enter into a service agreement with Anthem, Blue Cross, and Blue Shield to replace our current medical and vision plan providers. This change will take effect in January 1 of 2016. We ask that commissioners approve this service agreement as presented.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Questions? In our discussion, I want to commend the administration for developing a strategy and implementing it that gives our staff high-quality health insurance coverage, but it will not cost them any more out of their pocket this year. So in the transition, and hopefully most of them won't even have to change doctors. I think they've done a great job of doing this, and I know it was a multidisciplinary committee that went through the process, so I think it's well done, and I hope the staff looks forward to it. Commissioner Bentley?
Also kudos to our, our bargaining units, the IEA and AFSCME, because I think they were involved a lot in this decision and conversation too.
Great partnership. Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
The next item will be led by Commissioner Odle as it relates to our partnership with the public library.
And item 9.0 is the approval of a copyright license agreement with the Marion County Public Library to preserve digital archives of IPS yearbooks and other historic materials from several IPS schools. Do I have a motion to approve this agreement?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I just,
Mr. Cosner?
as a history buff, I was really, just thought that was very cool, what I saw, and, I'm just wondering in general if this will be expanded, because it seemed like a limited amount of yearbooks and information, but I know we have tons. Does anyone know if the project will continue and try to capture more materials?
We are not aware of any barriers that would prevent us from continuing this effort.
Thank you.
Everything in the past and everything going forward. So
I think I agree. I think it's it's fun to go through those, the ones that are there, and, it's good, archival material to have.
and it'll make it easily accessible to our alumni groups, too.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Next item is item 9.10, which will also be led by Commissioner Odle.
Now, item 9.10 is a resolution expressing the board's unanimous support for the Indigo Red Line Bus Rapid Transit Project. The board has submitted a letter of support to the U.S. Department of Transportation and wishes to formally record support for this project through passage of resolution number 767. So I would ask for a motion to pass that resolution.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further question or discussion?
Just,
Commissioner Bentley?
I enthusiastically support this. I think it's great for our city. It'll be great for our families and students.
Approving public transportation is good for
It's
everyone.
huge, yeah.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Dr. Farabee will now provide closing remarks.
Thank you, Commissioner Odle. Again, just wanted to echo the excitement as it relates to our advancement of the next step in our strategic planning implementation process. You know, part of the plan is not only launching and building excitement, but implementation. And next steps will be sharing the good news, but also inviting our community back to the table for implementation. So excited about where we are in our launch activities, and again, want to thank not only the individual recognized tonight, but all of those that were supportive and made our launch activities a success. Marion University, I had the opportunity to give their facility for us. We had a number of activities that were fun, but also very informative for our community. Also want to, again, publicly commend our staff and our teachers for facilitating a successful Parent in Touch Day. Had an opportunity to participate as a parent and also as administrator in the district. And many of our teachers stay after, come in before school to ensure that they can have that personal touch with our families, and that's greatly appreciated. But also remind our community that we have an alternative date for those families that could not participate on Wednesday the 23rd, and that date is September the 30th. So again, we invite those family members to take advantage of that opportunity and to coordinate with schools accordingly. Also want to echo the comments as relate to the work that went into this services agreement for health and vision. This is an opportunity to expand the services for our employees and their families, and we had tremendous support from the Indianapolis Education Association, AFSCME, who are all at the table and unanimously agreed and supported this agreement. It gives us an opportunity to ensure that our teachers are well, our employees are well, and when they're well, they're able to better serve our students and families. And then finally, in alignment with the Commissioner's support of the Indigo Red Line grant, I was also able to provide a letter of support, and we're looking forward to advancing and improving public transportation in the city. Concludes my comments for the evening.
Okay, I think we also want to publicly, recognize that if we had the Parent in Touch Day on a really significant Jewish holiday, and we're going to redouble our efforts to avoid that in the future. We apologize for that. But we're going to redouble our efforts to try to avoid those religious holidays. Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Farabee, and all the staff. Our next meeting will be a board work session on Monday, October the 19th at 6 p.m. at George Washington High School. We stand adjourned.